Hey everybody, I'm here with Chris Allessio from Freedom Mortgage. Hi Chris, how are you?
What's up, Leo? Hello, everyone out there in virtual world,
Yeah, quarantine life,
quarantine life.
social distancing. How are the kids?
Everybody's good, thank you. How's
Good.
your clan?
Everybody's doing all right. Knock on wood, knock on wood. So I wanted to have a quick conversation, and thank you for taking my call today, about what's going on in the market, what we're seeing from a lending perspective.
Well, a lot has happened over the past couple of weeks. Primarily, where I think you've seen the biggest disruption is a couple different places. Non-QM and hard money has really kind of dried up a lot. And they're not all of hard money, but a lot of the QM products, bank statement only, stated income, that has almost virtually disappeared, or it's on hard hold. So that type of product is just gone by the wayside. Jumbo market has suffered as well. If anybody out there is with a jumbo product, a lot of the secondary market investors are not investing in those products right now. So it's making it extremely challenging to even do those loans. You have to get super creative, which we do have a couple tricks up our sleeve on how to get those loans still approved. But they're not easy. They are very tricky. And actually, a lot of lenders have also suspended those products entirely as well. And additionally, FHA has raised their credit score limits to a minimum of 640.
Really?
That has been a big disruption as well.
What has it been? What was it prior?
Well, every lender's different.
Okay.
We would go into the 500s. We even went as low as 500. That is on a temporary change until the foreseeable future. They've implemented that new guideline, minimum of 640 credit score. So there's nothing you can really do about that. You either have it or you don't. And if you don't, it's okay, because what we would do is sorry about that. I think I just got a call. What we would do is we would work on getting the borrower to increase their credit score. Gotcha. In a couple different ways to do it, which is always a better thing to do. The borrower's they're gonna benefit more from your rate and mortgage insurance as well. So that in and of itself is not necessarily a terrible thing.
Are we seeing anything on the conventional side where you're putting 20% down or 10% down?
So I know that JP Morgan Chase has implemented their new, that was the big news yesterday, that, Chase is now only taking, 20% down with a minimum of 700 FICO. That hasn't been implemented on our side as well yet, I should say. I don't know if that's going to happen, and only time will tell. But we are still, I will say this, that we are still lending at a unprecedented rate. Freedom Mortgage is a very, very healthy company financially, operationally. We are still hiring. If that gives anybody a little bit of good feeling to know that, like, we're not going anywhere. We're doubling down. We've been around for 27 plus years. We're going to continue to be here for another 27 plus years. We have every intention on weathering through the storm and waiting for America to get back on their feet. I will say that refinancing is still we're still in a refi boom. So people are still refining.
Where are we at with refi rates right now?
So it all depends on your credit score. The rates are still in the threes. So, they're not as low as they were about a month ago, where you were seeing them into the twos. You can maybe still get there into the twos if you wanted to potentially buy it down, but it's ebb and flows with the market. So we have to go with what the market is telling us right now. And right now the rates are back into the threes. So still a good time to refinance. Or still, if you're trying to consolidate debt, or if you're just looking to take some equity out of your house to use for projects or anything else that you may need, that's still a great time to tap into the equity. Values are still high. And that would, values are high, the rates are low. It's a great time to still refinance. And as we know, we're moving into a delayed, but it's still moving into our selling season. So I'm still putting together a lot of purchase contracts and purchase transactions. So, which is fantastic as well.
Nice. Now, I get this a lot from clients, and I would love for you to kind of touch on it. What, people always say, I don't want to pull my credit. I'm not ready to look for a home just yet. but they're looking at homes, right? And they're testing the market, and they're saying, I'm going to hurt my credit by getting my credit score pulled to see what I'm pre-approved for. What would you say to somebody like that?
I get that question all the time. It's a valid question. I always tell people, don't worry about your credit getting pulled, because, if you're worried about your score dropping, it's not the same as if you're opening up credit cards or lines of credit, where you're potentially going to have not just an inquiry on your credit, but also you're going to potentially have new debt. This is mortgage shopping. Mortgage shopping, the credit bureaus understand that you are potentially shopping for a home, and you're checking how they know when your credit is being pulled from a lender, so they know that you're potentially checking out your credit profile. I think that there are ways to assist a client, still giving them a ballpark number and what they may be qualified for. But I'm very transparent and upfront with that client to let them know, if you don't really pull your credit, you're not going to know where your actual situation is, or if there's actual problems on your file. So it's better to get ahead of it now. If we pull your credit, we see exactly what your capabilities are right now. We know your challenges, or potentially in a perfect world, no challenges. But let's say you do have challenges, we can fix them before you absolutely are ready to go shopping. If you wait the 6 months or the 9 months or the 12 months, and then you pull your credit, and then you find out there's something on your credit that prohibits you from actually purchasing a house,
Right.
now you're just adding more time onto the whole transaction. So it's better to get in front of it.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100% on that one. And I try to tell people that it's not the same kind, everybody's just scared about their credit going down because they're trying to get pre-approved. But I think a lot of it is the fear of the unknown, right? So people don't know what they don't know. And I send all my clients your way because, you're just, you're a wealth of knowledge. So what would you say to somebody who says, I don't quite have a down payment now? What kind of, do you work with them? Do you, help them in any sort of way with down?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I mean, that's a legitimate concern for a lot of folks. So I always take a consultative approach with a client.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to do it. Nobody wants to be sold anything. So just have a discussion, take an advisory role, let them know what their options are, talk about strategy. A lot of times a lender will not talk strategy. As you know, I do buy and sell a lot of real estate myself, and I'm also an investor. So I understand what it means to be in the seller's shoes, as well as to be in the buyer's shoes, as well as to wear the lender hat. So right. It's important to talk strategy with your client, to let them know that, when you're working with the right lender, when you're working with the right realtor, you have the team on your hand and on your side, and that team will help facilitate the transaction, because it's not just about putting an offer in. Let me get pre-approved and put an offer in. It's about right. Sometimes talking strategy, and that right. strategy entails, if you don't have enough money for down payment, how do you get to there? How do you look at what's going out the door monthly, and how to try to re-swizzle that to see if maybe there's savings in one place where you can cut down here and you can save there. Maybe, talking strategy about how to get a seller concession to assist with your closing costs. A really good lender should be hand-holding that deal and talking strategy. Whether that strategy is acted upon or not, they take the advisory role, and that will help get your offer accepted, or help you build up the amount of money to start going out shopping. So you have the reserves, you have the down payment, you have the closing cost money. It's not just one silver bullet to get something done.
Great. And on one last note, and I think we should start doing these weekly, because I just think it's a really great, we'll do different topics each week if it fits in your schedule. But on one last note, what would you say, how is the market doing right now?
So the market right now is, in what regard are you talking about?
Are you still seeing an influx of people applying for mortgages? Do you feel like it's slowed down significantly? If so, how much? And what do you think is going to happen in the next coming weeks?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. And I'll just get out that part of the question right out from the front. I will say that I am still receiving calls, texts, emails from a ton of people looking to refinance and also to buy. I'm still working with a lot of my realtors that are sending me their clients to get pre-approved. I think people realize that eventually, and I don't have a crystal ball,
Right.
and first and foremost is everybody's safety. We want everyone to be safe out there. We want everyone to be healthy. You know, my heart goes out to everyone who's dealing with this COVID issue. But once eventually the market does turn to, I guess people start being able to go back to some sort of normalcy, whatever that is going to be like. I think that people are going to still want to shop for homes. People were preparing to shop for homes. And right now we're not seeing a dip in prices. We are seeing some struggle with people with work, being out of work, but hopefully America will get back to work. I think that those people will still be wanting to shop for homes.
Gotcha.
And I think that things will go back to normal for some, whatever that new normal is going to be. I think that home prices from what I'm seeing now are still pretty stable.
Mm-hmm.
They're not nowhere near what we're going to see like another 08 or 09. I hope to God we're not going to, but I think it's pretty stable where I think that people are still going to want to shop for homes, still sell their homes and upgrade, still put in construction loans, things of that nature.
Wonderful. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking my call today. And everybody, if you have any additional questions related to mortgage, Chris is here always. I'll tag him in the bottom. I hope you have a great day, Chris, and I'll talk to you soon.
You too. Thanks, Leo. Always a pleasure.
Same.